Welcome one, welcome all. It's your girl Nicole Banister, aka NIKKI BANZ, aka Nicole Hanumegol, and you are here for this week's episode of NIKKI BANZ Live. Welcome everyone. Welcome everybody, welcome. It's NIKKI BANZ Live, everybody, welcome. Welcome one, welcome all to NIKKI BANZ Live. It's your hostess with the mostest, NIKKI BANZ, and you are in for a treat today, party people. Yes, I love it, I love it, I love it. All right, I'm cutting my my bandari, my Persian music, but today is such a special episode. I had to kick it off with a very, very, very special start. A little Iranian music, a little Persian music, because today, ladies, gentlemen, however you identify, I have the one, the only Tehran in the building today. Tehran is an internationally renowned comedian, a live presenter on stages all over the United States, and he is a TV and radio personality. But most importantly, party people, he is half black and half Persian, just like me. Can you see the excitement like literally oozing out of my pores? I am so incredibly excited for this interview. I cannot wait. It's going to be an absolute treat. Thank you all for being here today. Once again, my chat box seems to not be working. I don't know what is going on and why I cannot see my chats anymore or my comments, but I hope you're commenting. I hope you're giving me love. I hope you're doing all the shout outs in the little comment feature. You are here with NIKKI BANZ Live every single Tuesday. Me, your host, Nicole Banister, aka NIKKI BANZ. I am interviewing different actors, artists, entertainers, personalities, and entertainers from around the world. Every single Tuesday, I'm bringing you a brand new guest from a brand new country, and I'm doing this so that we can all shift our perspectives, broaden our horizons, and talk to some of the most entertaining and outstanding people out there so we can learn their stories, their successes, their challenges, and how they got to be where they are today. So tune in every single Tuesday for NIKKI BANZ Live. All right, friends, I have been talking, I have been dancing, a little bit of bandari for you, getting you hyped, getting you excited for this episode today. Oh my gosh, I am just so incredibly stoked. I'm going to bring on the man of the hour, Tehran, in just a moment. We got to give a big shout out to Tehran. He's in Los Angeles on the West Coast of the United States. It's 10 a.m. in the morning for him, even though it's 8 p.m. for me here in Cape Town, South Africa. So we appreciate him hopping on, even though it is early in the morning, relatively early these days. Okay, friends, let me just see if he is here, and I will bring him on in just a moment. All right, friends. Now is the time. Give me just a second. See if we can get Tehran here with us today. Fingers crossed, friends. Super exciting. I am just so thrilled. So thrilled. Once again, I hope you're typing into the comments and into the chat, because like I said, I can't see for some strange reason. I cannot see the chat feature anymore, but it's all good. It's show business. We keep the show rolling. We keep it moving, even when things don't always work out in our favor. But I do need to figure this out. So I would even say type in the chat how I can figure this out, but I can't even see in the chat. It's fine. The show goes on. All right, everybody, welcome, welcome. I'm just gonna give it a couple more moments for Tehran to hop on with us. Once again, Tehran is an internationally acclaimed comedian, one of the funniest people out there. He is an entertainer, a TV personality, a radio presenter. He does so many different things. He is an incredible speaker, an incredible orator, and we're just going to be we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. I can already tell you. As two half Black, half Persian people coming here to just talk and share our experiences. I think Tehran is the second most famous Black and Persian person in the world behind Yara Shahidi, who's, obviously a really well-known actress. So, this is an absolute treat for me to be able to have Tehran here with you all today and to be chopping it up with me so you can learn more about what it means to be Black and Persian in this experience, in this culture. His experience is going to be totally different from mine, and that's going to be beautiful, and I can't wait to dive into it right now. All right, party people, I'm going to bring the man of the hour on. I just accepted his little request. Do a little drum roll. Hello!
Yo! Hi!
Salam, Azizam!
What's up?
I was literally just commenting. I was like, it's so early.
What were you commenting?
For you.
Actually, I'm always up. Hold on. Let me set this up. I'm going to come back in. Give me like 2 seconds.
Okay. It's all good. We're going to bring you back in just a moment. Well, glad to hear that Tehran is already up and moving and shaking, even at 10 a.m. I feel like in the comedy lifestyle, which is normally shows at night and late at night, you would think you'd be up working all night, and then you would sleep in the morning. Well, that's what I would assume. But we're going to hear from the man himself in just a moment. Woo! I'm so excited. 2 Black and Persian people coming together to chop it up about life, about culture, and about comedy. It's going to be such a treat. You are here on NIKKI BANZ Live. Tehran is going to come back in just a moment and hop on the live once he's all set up. We do all sorts of things on the back end to set up. We got the ring lights, we got the sound effects, we got the laptops, everything's plugged in. When it's hot outside, we got a little fan, pointing at us. This is all like the behind the scenes that you don't always see when we do a live show, because you're just looking here at this little screen, you're just looking at my cute little face, But there is behind the scenes. So that's what Tehran is sorting out now. And he will request to join in just a moment when he's ready. Once again, you're tuned in to NIKKI BANZ Live. My name is Nicole Banister, aka NIKKI BANZ, and every single Tuesday, I'm interviewing different people from around the world, bringing you a breadth of perspectives from different actors, dancers, entrepreneurs, entertainers, artists, and activists from around the world, whether it's Namibia, South Africa, the United States, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Lebanon, Palestine. I'm bringing you folks who are going to shift your perspective and shift your world through some awesome conversations. We chop it up at this time for an hour every single Tuesday, 8 to 9 p.m. Central African time here in South Africa, in Cape Town, which is where I'm at. 10 to 11 a.m. on the West Coast of the United States, West Coast, Best Coast, shout out LA. And then it is now from, I think, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. So that's every single Tuesday here on NIKKI BANZ Live. You can follow me on Instagram if you're not already at They Call Me Bands. Every Tuesday we are live, baby. All right, let me see if I can get Tehran back in here now. I know he was setting his little setup up. I'll invite him to join just now. I'm sure he's going to be coming in hot for us. So exciting, so exciting. I was playing some bandari at the beginning to get everybody excited about this little Black and Persian combo that we got going on. I wore my necklace in Farsi, if you can see. It says my name in Farsi. Shout out to my mom who got me the little sketch, my Persian mother, my Mamanjun, who hooked that up. And I also have my ring from Asa Kaftans over in Venice. My ring says Eshk on it, which is love in Farsi. Don't get it twisted, party people. I do not speak Farsi. But I just know a couple words. I can count from 1 to 10. I can greet. I know how to order some crème badem June. All the basics, okay? Just like the basics. But maybe Tehran's going to teach me some Farsi tonight because my man's is fluent in Farsi, which is just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, thanks for hanging in with me. Tehran's about to come on. He's going to come back on once he's all set up in just a moment. So just give me a couple more minutes. I appreciate y'all hanging in here with me. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Yeah, this is such a treat. One of the things I'll have to ask Tehran once we actually start is whether or not he and I have actually met before. I have this feeling that we met in Washington, D.C. once back in the day when I was at Georgetown for my undergrad and he was at Georgetown for law school. I think we met once. But then my mom was like, no, y'all didn't meet. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, we about to find out right now. Okay, moment of truth. Moment of truth. All right, I'm going to bring Tehran back in just now, everybody. Fingers crossed. The boy's coming back. LA to Cape Town. Internet working out for us. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Awkward silence. I'm like, is it gonna work? Is it gonna work? Yo, Instagram Live is crazy sometimes. I'm telling y'all. I am telling y'all. Okay. Coming in hot. Live show business. Is Tehran gonna make it on? Do I need another drum roll? Okay, I'm trying to accept Tehran to come onto the live, and it ain't working. I'm like, why is it not working? Okay, it's all good. We will continue on. Don't worry. We're going to get him on. We're going to get him on. Don't you worry. Just sent him an invite to join. And I love that y'all are all sticking in. We still got 25 people on.
Now we go. There we go. Yes. Bro, was this like, this was a mission. This was a mission. Like, this was a thing.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Hold on. Now I got to set this all up because it just fell. You keep going because you keep saying, by the way, let me start off teaching you. There is no Game Badem June, okay? So Game Badem June is two different foods combined, unless you're making your own food, and then more power to you. And on top of that, how does your mom know we didn't meet? We could have met. How does your mom know? Why is she putting that in the energy in the world to the point where IG Live was like, y'all two can't meet. We're just not going to let it connect.
Right? So my mom
I've never had a problem.
My mom has definitely met you, though. That's why she thinks I haven't met you. She was like, no, I would have remembered. You would have told me. Like, you guys met at some Shahs of Sunset kickoff party, something. You met my mom once. This was probably like so long ago. And I know she's
what, your mom?
In here. Salom,
I met your mom.
Yo. That's Tehran.
Right,
you just heard all my Farsi right there. I just said all my Farsi.
Yo. Okay, so it's dustit daram, like kheli dustit daram, because you're trying to tell her you like her and you love her. So you got to say dustit. Farsi is actually exactly Farsi. A lot of people think Farsi is like a difficult language, and I promise you it's not. It's actually not a difficult language at all.
Okay, honestly, I feel like just hearing it on my live, hearing it from my mom, hearing it from family members, if I ever actually took a class, like for real, if I took a class, I'm sure I'd pick it up so easily. That's the plan. Two
things you need with Farsi. You need to, actually, there's three things. Okay. You need to know all the vocabulary, because Farsi is a language where you need to know all the words, like every word for everything, all the time, for everything. Because if you don't know the word, it's gone. And also when you're reading, because it's a phonetic language, you have to just know the word in order to be able to read it, because it'll be written one way, you say it another way, kind of, right? But it's written one way, and you don't know what vowel needs to go where, because they were like, yo, we have 500 letters, but 3 vowels. We good? Like, why? Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Oh my God.
It's like, because look, Farsi had its own language and its own writing and everything. And then the Arabs came in, and they were like, you know, when a company buys another company and then merges the system and the system doesn't work because it's not the same. That's what they were like, nah, this is the language now. You can't write your language. You have to write our language. And Persians were like, yeah, but we're going to still speak our own language.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's how it works. And you'll realize like different places actually speak Farsi, right? So sure, we know Afghanistan speaks Farsi, but like they speak Farsi in Tajikistan, they speak Farsi, but some countries will speak Farsi with Russian letters. Like it's Farsi, but they write it with Russian letters.
What?
Exactly.
Mind blown.
Exactly.
I no
it's a whole thing.
I've never heard that before.
So you can actually understand maybe up to, because of the accents, you can, if you sit there and listen, you can understand most of it. But just because of the accent, you might only understand 60%, 70%, 60%, 70%. Even with Afghan people, when they're speaking, you can understand a certain amount. But it's Farsi. It's all Farsi. Daddy, all these things are just different dialects of Farsi. So it's actually a very interesting thing. So you need to know all the words.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna start like, you know, throughout this live, Tehran, you need to just drop some Farsi words for me and be like, Nicole, this is Farsi word number 1 of the first 15 minutes. This is number 2 of the next. You know, I'm trying to learn. We gonna learn today. Yeah.
No, you got it. Like Farsi, look, if someone teaches you all the words, number 1. Number 2, you need to learn how to conjugate those verbs, right? You need to learn how to like and address. And here's the thing, Farsi was so ahead of its time. It's progressive. It's non-binary. Okay, it's non-binary. I can't say he or she in Farsi. I can only say I can only say they. I can only say you, me. I can only say me, you, they, them, and that's it. So there is no feminine and masculine in Farsi, which not only is a part of the language, but it's also part of the culture. Originally, men and women were not different in the Persian Empire. So if you know the movie 300, there's this one part where the Persian emissary's there, like the Persian messenger, and he's like, oh, you let your women speak? And the Spartans were like, yes, because this is Sparta. Our women are Spartans. And the Persians like, we don't let women speak. And it's like, no, actually, back then, the Greeks used to make fun of the Persians. They used to actually mock and ridicule the Persians for having women soldiers and women generals and women landowners and women property holders and women voters. So that's actually a whole thing. That's a real thing.
Okay. Yo.
Yeah.
For everybody tuning in right now, I'm like, y'all are getting a history lesson right here about the Persian Empire and Persian culture from the boy Tehran. This is incredible. Yeah,
from the truth. It's the truth. So that's number 1. Number 2, so you need to know all the words. Number 2, you need to know how to, and it's very simple how to conjugate these words, okay? Because it's only like M, when you say M, it's for me. So like when you say Dustam, it's me. Right? I can only say me, you, them, basically, okay? Okay. So Micham, Michai, and Michad. Like that's I just conjugate. Yeah, that's it. Like I want, you want, they want. That's basically.
See, there it goes. Yeah, see, I speak a local language here in South Africa called Sepedi. It's one of the 11 official languages here in South Africa. And very similarly, they don't have pronouns either. Everything is just O. Like O is just they. Like it's not like, you know, you can say you can say they, but it's not like he or she.
Exactly.
Also, very sort of gender neutral.
And it's a beautiful language. Only the difference is only 14 people in the whole world speak Sepedi and like 100 million plus speak Farsi. But it's fine. But it's fine. Like it's. I understand. I understand. So number 3, this is the most important thing. Confidence. You speak Farsi, you got to have confidence. If you don't have confidence, it doesn't work. So when I hear people who say things like, oh, I understand Farsi, but I don't speak it. No, you speak it. You just don't have confidence in speaking it. Like you don't have the confidence to speak what you want to do or say and things because you feel like you have an accent or you're going to say something wrong. And so you slow down. So think about it. And that's why people start speaking amazing languages when they're drunk or high, when they're exactly their libido's down, you know what I'm saying? Libido's and the wall is down and they just start and as a person who never drinks, I've never drank, I've never smoked, I've never tried any drugs, my confidence was just always at the Tehran level. So I always I go in like, sí, habla español, ¿por qué no? Like I'm in Mexico speaking Spanish, and they're like, you don't speak Spanish, bro. And I'm like,
you're like, but I'm trying.
¿Quiere que no? ¿Quiere que no? ¿Por qué no? Mi hablo español porque
you're like,
una de estados. Yeah, porque you know what I'm saying? It's just all about your confidence. It's all about your confidence. A lot of language is just confidence. And you obviously feel more confident speaking Sepeda.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do, but that's because I've been, speaking it more regularly here. But that's the confidence bit is so true. So when I was at Georgetown, because I did my undergrad at Georgetown, I wanted to take Farsi, right? Georgetown School of Foreign Service undergrad has this language requirement. It's like you have to speak another language besides English to graduate. So I was like, finally, this is my moment. I'm going to learn Farsi. And they did offer Farsi classes, but they're like, we don't offer enough classes for you to be fluent. So you can't take it, and you won't graduate knowing it. And I was like, okay, fine. I was like, I'll take something that you have enough classes for. So I was like, okay, I'll take Mandarin. The whole world is being manipulated.
About to be China's.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, it's cool. I'll learn Mandarin. So I took Mandarin classes for 2 years at Georgetown, and I would speak it with some kind of confidence in class for tests, whatever. But the way, like when we had a house party and I was taking shots of tequila, and then the way someone would walk in, I'd be like, "Ni hao, what a punk yo!" The way I would just all of a sudden be fluent in Mandarin because I just had that liquid courage. Not my Mandarin.
I mean, that's the thing, and the thing about it is. You said something. China's going to take over the world. China's been taking over the world on the low. You're in Africa right now, so you see the pronounced Chinese impact and influence because they're just buying everything. People don't understand. The only reason China's not the world leader or in charge of everything is because the Western world globalized and imported English. So if Mandarin wasn't such a difficult language to learn, China would take over the world. It's just a difficult language. So because of that, it makes it so, we're already under this imperialistic power and we speak their language. That's actually something historically that happens often. It happens often, which is why actually Farsi was such a popular language during the empire times because it was an easier language to learn. And so everybody in the Persian Empire could speak Farsi, which is why there's so many Farsi loanwords even in English. So we have a lot of loanwords, we just don't talk about them, right? Okay. So everything from paradise, which is paradis, which is not only a Persian concept, but a Farsi loanword, to khaki. Khaki is khaki, which means like dusty, like people wear khakis. It means khaki. That's where the word came from. Balcony is balakhune. Balakhune is balcony. So all these loanwords actually still, even with the entire negative PR that they've been pushing and trying to change the Persian Gulf to the Arabian Gulf and all these other passive-aggressive microaggressions against the Persian people and Iranian people, the truth is there's still a lot of influence because Farsi is an Indo-European language. There's a lot of influence where we all know the words that we've loaned from other cultures. Well, there's a lot of words that they've loaned from us that we don't discuss.
Okay. Tehran, you are just like, the history here is just unbelievable. Like, how did you get to this point? Like, how did you get to this point, like, where you're learning all this history, understanding all these facts? Like, talk to us about your journey to how you've become, the person that you are today, and all this, like, research and background work that you're doing.
It's really interesting because people always tell me like, oh man, how do you know all this stuff? And I'm like, well, I have access to this like incredible resource that most people don't. They're called books. And you can just read these books. There's so many facts and there's so many facts and historical truths in these things called books. And then if you read multiple books, not just one book, right? Not just the book that tells you what you already know, but books about things you don't know, and then multiple books about that subject. And then you can understand, compare, and contrast. And there's that truth within all of them. It's the craziest thing. Like, I wish more people knew about these things. They're called, and I want you to write this down. Everybody listen. Books. It's B-O-O-K-S. Now, People talk to me and they're like, oh man, they'll talk to me about anything. You know, they'll talk to me about something. They'll be like, but I did the research. It's like, research? You mean Google? You Googled? I understand. Google's great. Your Google is not better than my Google. And you basically just read a meme. You saw a meme and now you think you know. I understand why you would feel that way. I understand why you would feel like what. There are actually certain psychological terms like the Dunning-Kruger effect or any of these numerous amount of terms that we label people like you. We understand. You saw a meme and now you think you know everything. And I get it. You're wrong. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Kimia, who understands. Camellia Alexandra, who said books. Maddie Moose Music. What are these books you speak of? They're okay. So, so look. I have so many. Like I just have so many books everywhere. I just have these books and I read them and they're just, I don't know how to express it, but like, okay, you ever seen the movie Matrix? Have you ever seen the movie Matrix?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
There's this part where Neo is in a chair and they plug this thing in his head and they download a and he learns all this stuff. That's kind of like what books do, except slower.
Okay, but I feel like, yes, we read books. I mean, you obviously are reading a lot of books a lot of time. And shout out to my brother, Julian, who is also reading books all the time. But for me, I've been reading the books and I've been forgetting everything the next day. You know, that's the problem. I need to I need to take notes. The research must extend to actually reading the book and then taking down notes, even on everyday life things. So that's
exactly. So here's one thing that happens in life too. People tend to listen, right? First of all, people tend not to listen, but when they do turn to listen, they tend to listen or learn. They do something. There's another factor. It's not just listening and learning. You have to comprehend, right? And once you comprehend something, you start digesting information and it doesn't go away. So for example, if I tell you what's 1 + 1?
2.
2. Nikki is a brilliant genius. Now, if I ask you what's 100 + 100?
200.
200. Do you know why? Because you comprehend the concept of 1 + 1 is 2. Therefore, you can multiply that exponentially within reason, right? Now, I'm not saying you'll be able to calculate every number all the time. It may take you some time, but eventually, if you wanted to, you actually could. You could calculate almost every number all the time because you listened to something, you learned it, and then you took that step further and comprehend, right? People don't do that, whether it's educationally, personally, professionally, in their physical, spiritual, or metaphysical lives. They do not actually comprehend. They simply, most of the time, they don't listen because they're simply waiting for their turn to talk. Second, when they do listen, they don't learn. Third, when they do learn, they don't comprehend. So that's it.
That's it. Simple as that. We gotta listen. We gotta learn. We gotta comprehend. It's just bada bing, bada boom. That's how it has to go. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Tehran. Okay, I got so many questions to ask you. We're already about like halfway.
Yo.
Yes.
Nikki, do you remember that time we met? Remember that time we met and had that great time? That time we met. Remember? We met?
I really think we met in DC, like for like a second. Like I feel like I don't know. I feel like we did meet once. But you know,
I was in DC. So I'm DC. That is a real thing. So if you were in DC when I was in DC, everyone should have met me. Like at some point I should have met every single person in DC.
Right, exactly. Okay, and then did you also go to Georgetown? Is that where you did your law degree?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So at some point we may have crossed, even though the campuses aren't together.
Right. Law school campus and undergrad campus, not the same. That's true. But I'm loving this. We got the Georgetown connection. We got the Black and Persian connection. And obviously, yes.
Oh, I was going to say, there's a time where you must have brought up being Black and Persian, and somebody inevitably would have been like, do you know Tehran?
Right, exactly. Well, I remember I'm trying to think of when it was that my like family discovered you. You know, we were so excited. We were like, oh my gosh, there's this guy. He's on Comedy Central. He's making cameos on Shahs of Sunset. He's half Black, half Persian, just like us. And I'm like, man, this is like, I think this is like one of the first times I'm talking to somebody else who's half Black, half Persian, who's not my brother. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like,
exactly.
Okay, you know, my brother man here. So talk to us about you.
But I am your brother. But I am your brother. You know what I'm saying? I am your brother.
You're
a brother from another mother.
Yes.
Yeah, and father and the whole nine.
Exactly. And next time I'm in LA, we're gonna hang out. I'm coming to see your show. I'll be there next summer, so we're gonna make a plan to link up and hang out for sure. But tell me,
that's what I'm saying.
Tell me about your Black and Persian experience. Like which parent is Black, which parent is Persian? Tell us about what it was like for you, because I'm sure it was different than mine. So I want to hear about it.
It's interesting. People always ask me, like, oh, which parent is Persian? It's like, my last name is Ghasri, so it's like, clearly my father is the Persian one, right? But first of all, let me explain to everybody right now. I have you here. I invented being Black and Persian. I don't care what nobody says, okay? I invented being Black and Persian. Like people get, like, I invented being Black and Persian, okay? I invented it. I invented being Black and Persian. Nobody was Black and Persian. And then, look, now you're Black and Persian. And I'm sure you've been like Black and Persian. You're like, yo, I carried the torch. And now you see all these people who are all of a sudden Black and Persian. You're like, where were you when I needed you?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Where
were y'all at? You were hiding when I needed you. Because hold on, at Georgetown, did you do stuff with the Persian Club?
I didn't really, actually.
Did you ever go to their events?
I did more stuff with the Persian Club when I was in high school. We had like a little belly dancing group, you know, and so I was doing that in high school.
Where'd you go to high school?
So I did my first 2 years of high school in Singapore, and then I did my second 2 years of high school in Bakersfield.
Yo, by the way, that not only are those polar opposites, but you're still international, because a lot of people think of the world as New York City, and there's more places in the world that are like Bakersfield than New York City. So people need to get that out of their mind. Exactly.
Especially in the United States.
And if you want to be, actually, it's everywhere in the world, because when you go to other countries, we tend to go to just their metropolitan areas. Nobody just goes to the city. And so when people, especially academia, examines, I tend to feel like they discount and miscount Bakersfield. Like, you're more worldly if you live in Alabama. You are more worldly in that sense than you are if you live in Chicago, because there's more places like Alabama in the world than there are like Chicago, right? We just tend to think of the world because that's that loud minority of people. That's why when people were shocked when they were like, who voted for Trump? Like, the rest of the country, the rest, Bakersfield, you know who voted? That's
Bakersfield,
why.
literally Bakersfield, that's who voted for Trump.
The predictions were so wrong because they were like, who voted for Trump? It's like Bakersfield, the place that you did discounted and miscounted, voted for Trump. You know, how is that, being in Bakersfield and being Black and Persian?
So, you know, I feel like this is the best story that I can say to describe it. So I moved from Singapore to Bakersfield. Okay. And so actually, I was actually born in Bakersfield, but like we moved almost immediately after I was born. So I never spent any time there. I didn't know anything about it. So I remember I go to volleyball practice, you know, on the first day of school. And I remember this girl coming up to me in line, and she was like, oh, I hear you're new here. And I was like, oh yeah, I just moved here from Singapore. And then she's like, oh, so you're Chinese. and I was just like the levels to that statement. I'm like, okay, number one, Singapore is not China. That's number one. Okay, number two, just stereotype me for 1 second. Do I look Chinese? Like, just for 1 second, just look and be like, do I look Chinese? And she was like, well, you moved here from China, so you must be Chinese. And I was like, okay, problematic. All this is problematic. That was day number one in Baco. And I was like, okay, it's going to be an uphill climb from here.
So you're Chinese. That's so great. I didn't, you're so international. You know, oh my God. How long did you live in China? You know, Zhongguo, I was in China. Singapore, China? You lived in Singapore, China? That's so nice. That's so nice. Stop Asian hate. You see what I mean? Stop Asian hate.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, you could be you could have been Chinese. Chinese, you not ethnically, but like nationality. There's a lot of Nigerian Chinese.
That's true. And that's honestly, that's the thing these days. You never really know where people are from. The question that I like to ask people these days is, where are you based? That's like the only question I can really ask people. Like, I'm not trying to ask about your race, your nationality, your ethnicity, where your passport is from, where your driver's license is from. Those are all different answers for me, honestly. I'm like, where am I based? I'm based in Cape Town. That's where I'm at.
You know, have you ever asked someone like, hey, where are you from? And they give you their 23andMe and you were like, so LA? Like, you're like, I understand what you thought I meant, but what I actually meant is, where are you living? Like, you came here from somewhere that wasn't here. Right. You're in Cape Town right now?
Yeah, I'm in Cape Town, South Africa. So I've been here for been in South Africa for about 8 years now. Yeah, ever since I graduated from Georgetown, been living here, working here, totally fall in love. And I gotta say, I gotta give a little shout out. So basically, like, my biggest hang up with Cape Town was that, okay, like, there's no Persian food here. Like, I always, like, anytime I would hear Farsi somewhere, I'd be like, oh my gosh, are you from Iran? Like, do you have Persian food? Where do I go to get Persian food? There was never any Persian food in Cape Town. That was the one thing that I was like, you know what? I can't live in Cape Town forever. There's no Iranian food. Like, there's no zaresh polo. There's no adas polo. There's none of these things that I grew up eating. You know, shout out to my mom, shout out to my grandma, my aunts, you know, who made amazing Persian food for our household growing up. But then recently, just in the last year, Persian Peacock has opened in Cape Town. And so
there's a Persian restaurant in Cape Town?
It's a Persian restaurant in Cape Town. So come one, come all.
Is it good?
You're invited. It's delicious. I love it. But they use a lot more lamb than beef. I think that's like a South Africa thing. But just
where
just
are there a lot of Persians in Cape Town?
Not really. There's I'm learning about more as time goes on. I'm learning about more, but it's also hard for me, right? Because it's not like Persian people are checking for me. Like, they're not looking at me being like, oh, that's the Iranian girl. But, you know, I tried to make my presence known on social media and be like, hey guys, I'm here. Went to their Nowruz party last year.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I went to the Nowruz party and everybody was like, they're all looking at me like, who's this? And I was like, salam, everybody. And then everyone's like, okay.
And how many people were there?
It was intimate. There was maybe like 20, 25 people there. It was an intimate group. But I think there are more Persians in Cape Town, but they weren't all at that
25 people. Okay. 25 people is how many Persians are at one corner of Ross in LA right now. Like, if you go into a Ross Dress for Less, there are 25 Persians shopping for a dress at Ross right now. That is a real thing. That is a statistic.
In Tehran jealous, as we like to call it.
Yeah, Tehran jealous. Madame, Monsieur Tehran jealous.
Are you like totally notoriously known? Do all the Iranians in LA know you now? Like, do people just come up to you on the street and holler at you? Is it like that now?
I mean, the Persians, I've been very active in the Persian community. I've been very active in the Black community. So, and there's just Black people, there's clearly a wider range. So it's not as easy. I have a great base of people. So, but it's not as easy to tell as it is obviously in the Persian community, because it feels like the entire Persian community knows me and only a percentage of the Black community, even though most of my base is non-Persian. So not at most, but it would be 50-50. And the Persian base has been extremely supportive and extremely welcoming in that regards. Because, you know, I've noticed people always like to think Persian people are racist. They're not. As long as you're Persian, they're cool. Like, you can be as long as you're Persian too. They don't care about your skin color. It's against your culture. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's against, like, right now, if you spoke perfect Farsi, they would be like, Nikki June, you know, and then and then there would be somebody who looks Persian, but he's from Kuwait, and they were like, in Arabic, kisafat, and you're like, wait, why? We're the same. We're all the same. They're like, nah, they're different. It's right across the little river. They're right there. Different. It's like there'll be this you know, and there are, of course, there are unfortunate instances of racism of obviously everywhere you go, however, and colorism. But for the most part, Persian people, as long as you are Persian, they will, you can be an Indian person that looks Persian. And as soon as they find out you're Indian, they'll like love you. And then you're like, yeah, I'm Indian. They're like, Hindi, kiss off that. You're like, why is it kiss off that? Why is everyone who's not Persian kiss off that? Everyone who's not Persian is kiss off that. Everybody. Wow. Kiss off that means like dirty too. Like, you know, it's like kiss off fat. Like, why? Why is it kiss off fat? Like, what did they do? It's just like in Iranian ke Adam nistan. It's like they're not even humans. They're not even.
Oh no.
That's the thing. Iranians are people like, I don't know, in America you might have heard an Iranian use the word khariji. Do you know what khariji means?
No, I don't know it.
Khariji means foreigner. Khariji means foreigner. Okay?
In a derogatory way.
Khariji just means foreigner, like you're a foreigner. You're from somewhere. Yeah, you're not Iranian, you're Khariji. Iranians came to America and started calling Americans Khariji. What kind of people do that? What kind of people come to America and start calling Americans foreigners, bro? They call them Khariji, and they don't even just say Khariji. They're like Khariji kha. Kha? You know, kha, like kha means like stupid, like a donkey. Khariji kha. Khariji kha kha. And you're like, yo.
Oh no.
And look, and people are like, Giti, everybody, and this is another thing with Persians. Giti, everybody's like, that's not true. Yes, the fuck it's true. Okay? Yes, it is true. So stop defending the bullshit. It's true. Listen, I know all of your secrets. That's what Iranians need. I know all of the secrets, okay? I know all of them. All of them. I speak all of it. I read and write it.
Yeah,
I read it. I write it.
That's why.
Exactly. I mean, I'm there, and exactly. People are like, no, we're not like that. We never do that. Shut the of course, you of course you do it. Like, I've seen it. All right, my Baba will be like, why is there a Khariji Akhar? What's the Khariji Akhar doing here? Tell the Khariji Akhar to go home. Tell the Khariji Akhar to go home. I'm like, Baba, that's mom. Like, can you please stop doing that? She understands what you're saying, bro. Right. She gets, like, you're not even trying. You're not even trying, my dude. Like, you're not even trying. Meg MV is half black, half Persian. That's what's up, Meg. Make sure to follow me and message me. You know what I'm saying? We're the Black and Persian crew. Like, look, and there's also the Collective for Black Iranians, which is a whole movement. It's very academic. Like, they are the like what's it called? Like they are the like highbrow, high class. Like, it's really good.
It is really, really good. And I feel like what's super interesting to me, what I've been learning so much from the Collective for Black Iranians is like not just people like us who are mixed, like black and Iranian, but like black Iranian people who were like
exactly
born Iranian. You know, it's not
in
mixed,
Iran.
Like and learning
it's very different.
Culture, and that heritage is so different, but so special that this is like a movement that's happening and that people are finding each other. Because like, honestly, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, like Tehran, you were legit the only like Black and Persian person that I had ever heard of. You know, Yara Shahidi comes on the scene. I'm like, cool.
She came and took my thunder, Yara.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, Yara, where you at? Like come join the live right now, you know? Like,
she's busy at Harvard. Like, yo, Yara's really doing it.
Yeah, she's
but that's the thing. The Black collective, Black Iranian collective, that group is great. They're doing good things. They are the Pavarotti to my Gucci man. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm in these streets. You know, they're on the campuses, but I'm in these streets, you know, promoting it. So, and it's the impact, and I love being part of a zeitgeist, part of the zeitgeist where it's like, this is a thing, and all of us are, because we are the precursors to more and more who are joining us, you know?
Exactly.
So if you're Black and Persian, you're either 30 and over, or you're 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's like that 20-year gap. Exactly.
Yes, exactly. There's this other page I follow too, Persian and Black Goals, and they literally just post like amazing Black and Persian couples and families, and I'm like, yes, yes, all the Persian Black love out there.
Yeah, there is, and you know, it's two very warm, friendly, interesting cultures who come together, and people, and it's shocking to me when people are like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're Persian." It's like, don't worry, your daughter's gonna sleep with a black guy one day too. Like, you'll be all right. Like, it's you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Oh, like it's people get so shocked when you're mixed and in Persian. Like, what do you mean? Like, well, you do realize that in every other aspect. When they ask me, oh my God, I can't believe you speak Farsi. I'm like, yo, I can't believe you speak English. So I guess we're in the same boat. You don't look like you can speak English.
That is too funny. Okay, wait. So Tehran, talk to me a little bit about how this like very unique multicultural, multinational identity that you have comes out in your comedy.
I mean, I just speak my truth. That's the thing. That's about comedy. Comedy is about speaking your truth.
Yeah.
So the same way you went to that Persian party and they were shocked to see you and they thought you were probably a South African person who was joining someone and not realizing that you're not South African at all. You're Persian. Right. So you're a Persian young woman who's come to a Persian gathering. What I do with my comedy is I open people's eyes and I express to them. And by the way, I'm so glad we're not doing this in person, because if you had coughed like that like 3 times when I was there, I'd have to shoot and kill you. I just want to let you know, COVID, I'm not playing with COVID. Especially you have African COVID? No, I'm fine.
There's no such thing as African COVID, bro.
I don't care. Like, listen, African COVID, once you get into the African or Indian variety of a disease, like people get diarrhea. In India, it's dysentery. Like, you just die. Like, there is no, like, I don't play with khariji diseases.
But
you understand?
But I'm telling you right now, the way that the African continent was so much more prepared to handle something like COVID, because we've been through this before. We've been through HIV. We've been through malaria. We've been through Ebola. We got health systems, infrastructure.
And that was just Tuesday. That was just all Tuesday. Like, you went through all those things yesterday. Like,
yeah,
bruh.
You know, we were very prepared. South Africa had one of the like swiftest responses to COVID in the world. You know, so I would say I was very glad I stayed here and didn't come back to the U.S. during the pandemic. It's been
It's very interesting. It's very interesting.
My bad.
Cape Town, by the way, is one of my favorite cities in the entire world. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Have you visited before?
I've been. Cape Town is popping.
Cape Town is lit. It's a whole vibe here, and we're coming into we're in the southern hemisphere, so we're coming into summer right now. And December is like, you know, December is like a thing in Cape Town. It's like an energy. It's like a lifestyle, you know. And I've been saying that December started in October this year. Like, people have just launched. Like,
I think this. Cape Town's it. You know, that's like where I need to go to Cape Town to find a wife, because that's where they're at. Like, there's these amazing women in Cape Town, extremely educated, extremely just poised and amazing and wonderful and full of life. The people there are just full of life. It's so nice. And the way Cape Town's like just a beautiful scenery. Like, it's drawn by God. Like, God themselves came down and drew Cape Town.
Yes,
it's beautiful.
Cape Town is stunning, and I oftentimes tell people, they're like, well, why don't you want to be, you know, in the United States, or like, you know, your family's in LA now, like, why don't you want to be in LA? I'm like, Cape Town is Los Angeles. It's just more melanated. Like, it's the same as LA. It's beautiful beaches, it's beautiful mountains, it's beautiful people, but it's just on the African continent. Like, it's the same thing. So yeah, people need to come down.
Shout out to one of my favorite Black and Persian. Shout out, just joined. Shout out, June. What up?
Hello.
We should bring her on. You should tell her, shout out, you should join us. We should be a whole crew.
I'm ready. I'll have you on the next live. You can come on the next show. Let's do it. I'm ready. I'll interview everybody, all the Black and Persians out there. I'm ready for it.
Hold on. With your live, you can't do multiple people?
I could do multiple people. I could. It says I can invite somebody to join.
You should join. You should make this a whole thing. Hello. What's up, shout out? So it's like, when it comes to my comedy, though, with Black and Persian, it's just who I am. So whenever you see a white comedian on stage and they're talking about their white experience, that's just who they are, right?
Yeah.
And then you see other comedians on the stage talking about their experiences, that's who they are. Well, that is who I am. And so that story needs to be told. And it's also a story that's relatable to a lot of people, not just Black and Persian, because we are moving into this not only age of Aquarius, but an age of interracial relationships where the world, it's a small place after all. And you have people with different backgrounds who are entering partnerships, whether it's for a child or it's for love or it's for work. And it's not necessarily just be professional. And it's just a thing. Oh, I like this. See, so Meg is Persian and Jamaican. That's what's up. So you have all these different people mixing. And so that mixed experience, because we act like being mixed is normal, but it's really not. Most people are not mixed. And I'm not talking about Kelly, who's like, well, in my 23andMe, I'm actually 1/16th Japanese and 1/49th. Bitch, if you don't get off my...
Right. But actually growing up, growing up in this multicultural, multinational household, you know, and I think mixed kids are the future, because for us, the world is not black and white. It never has been.
Exactly.
It's always been different perspectives, different nuances, different opinions. And that's what I love about having my Black dad and my Persian mother. My dad would say his opinion, my mom would say her opinion. Then they would look at me and my brother Julian and be like, all right, what do y'all think, right? And that helps you to see different sides of the world.
Exactly. It's the world. And you realize, because we're in a unique position, our perspective, we realize how much more people are alike than they are different. They can't see their similarities because they're stuck in boxes, and boxes are meant for things and not people. They're just stuck in their ways and their boxes and doing what they're supposed to, because that's what they were told. But they don't realize it's such a bigger, more beautiful place. You know, people are so caught up in lines, imaginary lines of nationality, and don't realize the earth doesn't know that that's where Iran ends and Iraq begins. Like, you made that up. The earth had no idea. Those people on that border have much more in common than the people on the border and the people in the middle. They just have much more in common, and people need to understand this. And it's okay. We will all be okay. Everything will be okay. Just everyone needs to relax and just let things happen. Everyone's so afraid. It's like, this is a new step into evolution. This is a new step into evolution. Is people mixing, and I don't just mean mixing as in they have to copulate and have a mixed kid. I'm talking about just being around different people of ethnicities as friends.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, exactly. And that's, you know, one of the beautiful things about Cape Town, what I found in community here is that, like, yes, I've got a ton of South African friends and people who are in the mix, but also the diaspora, you know, like, got friends from Gabon, friends from Lesotho, friends from Namibia, friends from Zimbabwe. And like in a place like LA, you also get that kind of like multiculturalism and that kind of diversity in friendship groups, or at least you should hopefully have that kind of diversity in your friendship groups. You should, but they don't. And it's interesting how in America, everyone just calls it Africa like it's one place. Like, you get off the plane and it's Africa. Like, they don't realize how big Africa, how much bigger than it is than the United States. February 6th, who, by the way, my birthday's the 7th. Tehran هنوزم چی نمیشه کت شلوار میپوشی میری عروسیا کت شلوار میپوشم میرم عروسیا منظورت اون ویدیو که با اردلان دادم بیرون I did a video series called Wedding Crashers, and we would go to Persian, like where they have Persian weddings, and we would just go on a Saturday knowing there would be a wedding, and I would just crash this wedding. And like dance and eat and just have a good time. It was a whole thing, Wedding Crashers. I love that. I love that. And I love that you're reading the chat because, okay, normally on my live. I'm reading it in Farsi. But I'm reading it in Farsi as well. But normally on my lives, I like to give the audience a chance to, you know, ask my guests some questions, you know, here on the show. But we only got 5 minutes left. We just been chit-chatting the whole time. I'm like, you asked me questions for half the live. I was supposed to be interviewing you. But it's a dialogue, you know. I love it. I love it. Yo, it's not about that. It's about us, you know. It's us. Like, and by the way, being Black and Persian is a very unique experience. It's also much better. It's like having all their strengths, but none of their weaknesses. Like, can I just...
Yo, can I just let me be 6'2", almost 6'3". Let me not be hairy. You know what I'm saying? Let me have hair. You know what I'm saying? I love this. It's like,
yes.
it's the best. We're in here. Hi, Sherry Gilar. How are you? Thank you so much. We take it on. Shout out to Kosha Deals, my man Kosha Deals, Rami, who's a great lyricist.
I love it.
But that's the thing.
Welcome to NIKKI BANZ Live. I love everybody tuning in. We got 50 people on. That's great. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, at one point we had 100-some. I should come to Chicago more often. Chicago's amazing. We had a great show there. It's so fun. Alamehim, I don't know how to say your name, but I appreciate you as well. I'm so glad you came to the show at Flappers. We just had a recent show. Zizi's in the building. What's the subject? That's a good. Zizi's an interesting person because she's half black, half Arab. So she has a lot of similar experiences as we do in a different context. And she lives in Detroit. So it's like she just has that. She basically lives in an Arab country. You understand? She lives in an Arab country. So she's in it. Yeah. Zizi is amazing. Yeah,
well, okay,
Zizi's pop.
What's on the horizon in terms of shows, in terms of new things that we should be looking out for, keeping an eye out on, so that we can support you. Like, what's coming up? Give us all the plugs.
Yo, nothing. I'm about to be homeless in these streets. You know what I'm saying? I'm done. I just don't even want to do anything anymore. I'm tired. Shout out to Jason Mingber. I've done no shows in Tehran. But hopefully will. I'm at the Laugh Factory every Thursday, 9:30 p.m. It's an amazing show. Everyone should come out. And I've been touring with Maz Jabani. I'm touring on my own, so we have a lot of things that are happening. I have one special surprise tour that might happen this weekend where I pop up at random places and just do things. So make sure to find me, follow me, tell your friends. And spread the word, spread the love. Just don't spread Corona, Hopefully I'll come to Toronto.
Don't spread Corona. I love that. Wise words from Tehran, ladies and gentlemen, or however you identify.
Yeah, all of you non-binary people, It's so interesting to me when people are so mad. They're like, no, it's he or she. Why do you care? Why do you care? Yo, you want me to call you Zebra? I'll call you Zebra. I might mess up a couple times, but I'll try. I will try.
Yeah. For me, I'm just gonna let people live. Same way I don't need to know your race, your ethnicity, where your parents were born. Your gender, your sexuality. That is for you. That's amazing. Love who you love. Love who you love.
Yeah. Sexuality. Yo, you're gay. Cool. You know what I'm saying? I've never understood that concept where people get so mad. They're like, oh, I hate gay marriage. Okay, fine. Don't marry a gay person. Done. We are done. We have just solved that problem for you, Jim. We have solved that problem.
Jim.
It's done. I get it.
Exactly.
Move on, buddy. I move on.
Right. Exactly.
I hate black people. Well, then you're lost because all of the dancing, food, music, movies that are good, that's us. If you don't, I understand. Sometimes I hate black people too, Jim. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Sometimes we're just too cool. I can't even keep up.
Sometimes it's too cool. Sometimes I'm like, yo, I just want to shake your hand. Why am I doing all this, bro? Why do I have to know all this? You know how much time that takes? Yo, remember when people were dabbing? That was just 2 years ago, by the way. It feels like 30 years ago because so much stuff comes out. Remember Fleek? On Fleek was yesterday.
I know.
And now we can't even use it anymore. They're like, what? What are you saying? What do you mean? Stop coming out with new stuff all the time. Stop being so cool.
I know. These
black people.
They're just so cool. We're really dating ourselves right now. Hey, I'm like,
yeah, nobody.
We talk about the kids. We're like, oh, the kids just be changing it up all the time. I'm like, oh, I can't keep up. But it's cool. I'm trying to hang in there.
Yo. It is. I don't even want to know, bro. Listen, you know when you still think you're in your 20s and then you go out with a group of people who are in their 20s, you're like, nah.
Right, I know. So I'm turning 31 in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, Like, when I was just 30, right? This year I'm 30. I'm like, okay, I'm close. You know, I'm on the cusp. Now that I'm 31, I'm like, oh, I'm over the hill now. I'm not
You're 40. You're basically 40 now. You're 50. If you really think about, like,
right?
Yo, we're good. Like, I didn't even go out for Halloween this year. I was just like, nah.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
I opened the door and then I saw people and I was like, close the door. I just closed the door. I literally closed the door.
I can't do that.
I don't need this in my life.
Exactly. Okay, Tehran. Well, we've reached the hour mark here. I know you're a super busy guy. I'm not trying to take too much more of your time. But any final shout outs? Anything you want to share with the people?
Hold on. ZZ's laughing. Yo, first of all, ZZ, they weren't 20. It's not 20. Okay, that's how we express ourselves. Okay, it wasn't like I was hanging out with a 20-year-old. That never happened. Okay, let's not create that narrative, ZZ. Okay, the concept is in their 20s. Okay, so let's stop that real quick. Thank you, ZZ. Okay, BT. Shout out, June. We love you. Hopefully, yo, ZZ's like, we're not old, we're mature.
Yes. So mature.
Yo, so mature. Yo, at this age, my dad had like 3 wives and 4 kids and 8 businesses. I'm like, I can't get a goldfish because it dies. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. I got 50 plant babies. How about that?
Yo, plant baby, you're grown. You're grown, you know? You are grown. Musical Emerald says we're well seasoned. Listen, I don't mind being me. Like, I love the place where I'm at, and I've always been like an old soul anyway. Like, I've just been an old soul. So I've been this age since I was 4. You know, 4. Yo, I was an old child. I was just like, I'm good. Like, kids would be like, let's go to Chuck E. Cheese. And I'd be like, I'm good. Why am I sharing my tokens?
I'm chilling.
I don't need to share tokens. I don't need these tokens sharing.
You're like, I'd like to stay at home and read a book, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't need, like, be like, oh, but we like you so much. Yes, I know why. I'm interesting. You're not. Like, I would like me too, you know? I'm actually, I get jealous of the fact that you get to meet me. I don't get to meet me. I'm just me. You know, it must be exciting for you. You know.
Oh my goodness, I love it. Well, I know everybody who's on Nikki Banz Live right now is super excited to have met you. I so appreciate you coming on the show, man. It's such a pleasure to like meet you and talk to you in this way. I'm definitely gonna holler next time I'm in LA, and if you ever come to Cape Town, you definitely gotta hit me up. I'm ready to chill with you. We'll go eat some food, and it's gonna be great.
Shout out to Sartorial Theory, a great designer who just joined, and everybody who's been in the chat so active. Make sure to tell your friends about Nikki Banz's show. Make sure to tell them about all we need for you to do to support us is just honestly support us through follows and likes and all that kind of stuff. So make sure to do that. And now you can tell your mom that we've met and we've hung out. And به مامانت سلام برسون. مامان جون سلام عرض میکنم. خوبین شما؟ امیدوارم که همیشه خوب باشین. دخترتون واقعا بی‌نظیره. یعنی واقعا عاشقشم. از این تهران تا اون تهران. شب و روز همگی بخیر. تهرانه. Bye.
Hey, bye.
I'm sure someone will translate that for you.
I love it. Bye, Tehran. Bye, everybody. Have a beautiful rest of your morning, day.